So, hello, fourth form. It was nice seeing some of you in school yesterday. So that was Mr. Hill's tutor group. So that was nice to see you all. So we're carrying on with vectors today. You know, one of my favourite topics. So we're going to absolutely do as much on this as we can. Um, it is getting a little bit trickier. So as I mentioned last time, if you don't get 100% in it, that's absolutely fine. I don't expect you to keep on going for hours and hours and hours. But if you could just make it clear to me when you upload your work whether you understand where you went wrong or not, that's useful for me to know as I plan my lessons going forward. Can everybody just make sure they've muted their mics? I'm getting some sort of feedback from somebody. Thank you. So yes. So if you get 100%, then that's absolutely fine. No need to make a little comment. I clearly can see you fully understand it. But if you don't, just give me a quick one line and say, yeah, no, I realise where I went wrong or whatever. Now, because a quarter of you are in school today and a quarter of you are in school tomorrow morning, I'm going to repeat this lesson. So I'll go live again tomorrow. So those of you who are not in school today and also are not in school tomorrow, it's your choice whether you decide to come back and listen to the same lesson again. I mean, I'm going to do it live again. And it may be that you just want to hear it talk through again, but I quite understand if those of you, particularly those of you who get a very good score today, that you just think, well, tomorrow I will not bother attending the live lesson. But I still want you to do some maths. I want you to just go and work on one of those extension activities I've set. So that could be filling in any gaps you've got on Hegarty. It could be improving any marks on Hegarty. It could be a topic of your choice on Corbett Maths, just an area of weakness on GCSE, or it could be launching into some of those further maths exercises on Corbett Maths. But if you do that, remember, I want to control that. So you do that in the order that I suggest. So you do that in the order of the assignments, please. So Hegarty 633 will be today's. Okay, and again, this is nice. This is sort of GCSE standard. Later on in the paper, this would be sort of cropping up towards the back end of the paper. This is getting quite challenging. Okay, so let me just model 2 or 3 questions, and all of these today we're doing the geometric reasoning. We're working through the algebra of the vectors, but we are then having to make some conclusions on whether vectors are parallel or not. So for this question 1, explain a vector OP as parallel to 9a plus 10b. So I think we touched on this before. If you are a parallel vector, you're going in the same direction, clearly. So you're going to be a multiple of each other. You're going to be multiples of the same vector. So we're going to have to number crunch and work out what OP is, and then go and see whether it's a multiple of 9a plus 10b. So let's just go through the process of working out what O to P is. So set the scene. How are you going to go from O to P? Well, I'm going to go O to A, then A to P. That's my choice. Now, reading the question, we're told that P is the point such that AP to PB is 2 to 3. So pop your 2 on the diagram and your 3 on the diagram. So we can see that AP is 2/5, 2 out of the 5 total of AB. So my second line of working, I've replaced AP with being 2/5 of AB. And clearly, how do I get from A to B going down the A and B roads? I go A to O and O to B. My A to B is A to O and O to B. So that is my last line there in blue. And all that workings in blue is where I'm using the uppercase arrowed formats. I am now able to move over to the alternative formats of little a's and little b's. Remember, never mix and match. So I've replaced OA with OA with a 3A. I'm just going down that normal way. I've replaced AO, that's going down it the wrong way, minus 3A, and clearly O to B is 5B. I then do the algebra, so claw, that gave me that line of workings. I've then gathered up my A's, or I'm getting ready to gather up my A's. So what I've done an extra line here just to help you with your fractions, because as I gather up my A's, one of them is already in terms of fifths. I've chosen, excuse me, I've chosen to rewrite 3A as 15/5. That's obviously 3, to allow me to do this taking away. Okay, so just make sure you can see why I've done that, because I want to do 3a take away 6/5. I've chosen to make the 3 in terms of a top heavy fraction in fifths, and then obviously that's then an easy takeaway. 15/5 take away 6/5 is 9/5. Now that's going to be the final answer you put in on Hegarty to express the vector OP in terms of A or B. That is your answer. But in the real GCSE, how would you go and make it clear that they are multiples of the same vector? How would you make it clear that that is a multiple of 9a plus 10b? Well, you factorize it. So I've taken out the fifth. That's left me with 9a plus 10b. So clearly our vector from O to P is a multiple of 9a plus 10b. It's a fifth of it. So because it's a multiple, it could be bigger, it could be smaller, but you can basically factorize it, leaving 9a and 10b. I can conclude that OP is a multiple of 9a plus 10b, and they are therefore parallel. So that was the question 1. They're all much of a muchness, so I might go through these other ones quite quickly, just pulling out the key points. Okay. Here with Cn to Nb is 3 to 2. And then it's very much the same idea here, but I've actually got to now conclude whether Mn is parallel to AB. Now AB, we're told from the diagram, from the question, sorry, is 5b. So I'm going to go and work out what M to N is. And providing it's just a multiple of B, of 5b, there's no A's in it, I can conclude they are parallel. So I'm going to work through my usual routine of working out what Mn is. So that's what I've just done here. In blue, I'm in that uppercase format. Move over to the lowercase format. Again, could everybody just make sure the mics are off, please? I'm hearing someone sniffing. So from blue to purple, I've moved over to the lowercase format. Now, when I got down to the bottom, when I finally worked out what Mn is, it still has some A's in it. Okay, it's not just some B's, so it is not a multiple of AB. Okay, so what I'm saying is that vector straight from M to N, let's just pop that in, that vector from M to N is not parallel to A to B. Okay, remember, they're not drawn to scale, so you can't tell by looking, but we're concluding they're not. If Mn had just been so many lots of B, then they would have been parallel, but there are some A's involved, so they're not parallel. Okay, I don't think question 3 did too much more. All I had to do here, though, I'm going to have to work out whether Cx is parallel to Cy, So neither of them are dead easy. You're going to have to work both of them out from first principles. You're going to have to work both of them out. So up here, I've number crunched and worked out what Cx is. Then down here, I've number crunched to see what Cy is. And they're not parallel. That is not parallel to that. How do I get from 2a to 5a? Well, it's 2.5 times as big. But 2.5 lots of 5 over 3 does not give me 4b. So they are not parallel. One of them is not a direct multiple of the other. Okay, so that is the answer I've given for Hegarty. This asked me to express the vector Cx in terms of A and B, but they are not parallel because that Cy is not 2.5 times as big as that. Okay, so just so we're clear, you just take a single term, you say, how do I get from 2a to 5a? That's 2.5 lots. 2.5 lots of 5 over 3 is not 4, so they are not parallel. Now, question 4 is quite a common one, okay? And it's quite straightforward, really. We're told that OP equals blah, 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 blah. Find the value of K, where K is a constant. So all you're going to have to do here is work out what OP is, which I've done over here, and then factorize it. Okay, so exactly this usual process. I've just worked out what OP is, okay, and I've worked it out down to here. Because I've got to make it a multiple of 8a plus 3b, I take out the fifth here. When I've factorized this, I've taken out a fifth. So it's a fifth of 8a plus 3b. Okay, So K must be a fifth. So you just have to keep an eye on what the question is asking. So that's it, folks. So if you wouldn't mind going and having a go at this Hegarty, just to remind you, it was, which one was it? It was Hegarty 633. And I hope you enjoy your time in school when you're in school today. Just to remind any of you who've just turned up a bit late, if you are also at home tomorrow, tomorrow's lesson is a repeated lesson. So it's your choice whether you turn up to say hello or not. That's up to you. But don't just think of it as a lesson off. Okay. If you're at home tomorrow, just please can you make a start on some of that extension work? That's it, guys. Bye.